Well, good afternoon and welcome to Live Impact News right here on 13 News Now Plus, 1:01 p.m. on February 4th. This is actually my first show of February, so happy February, everybody. The last of the U-ary months. I am Connor Reel. I will be here with you for the next 2 hours going through all of the most breaking, impactful news in your area, nationally and globally. And I couldn't do any of it without the People's Producer, Nia Campbell. Nia, I've missed you dearly during my time away. How did everything go? How are you doing?
Everything was smooth.
Okay.
Of course, we missed you here on Live Impact News as well.
Thank you.
How are you? How is it being back?
It's great being back, other than the fact that I came from a very warm place to a very cold place. Not cold in terms of the people we're surrounded with. I've received a lot of warmth from friends and family and coworkers upon my return, but cold outside, which is just fine because we have Hunter Forst here to break it all down for us. Hunter, behind you is the beach.
Yep.
That actually doesn't look unpleasant, but that is not what we are expecting later tonight. How are you, and how are things looking for the rest of the day outside in Hampton Roads?
I am doing great. Thank you for asking.
Okay.
Some of you may have heard we have a weather impact alert heading into this evening and tonight. Nothing major. Let me preface
Okay.
that.
Great.
Some rain and snow showers for the south side. More rain for eastern North Carolina. Certainly could see some slick spots out there heading into tonight and early tomorrow morning, so you want to keep that in mind. But again, not expecting a whole lot with this system.
All right. Now, I noticed you said rain and snow showers. Is that the wintry mix that we hear about so often, or is that more of like a
It could be, yeah, you could
transition?
see a mix, but you could. It's also going to be a transition to some rain
Okay.
and then snow. But
Okay.
also could see a little bit of a wintry mix as well.
What time do we think for the snow/mix?
Well, I'll time it out for you here on the Futurecast coming up in just a couple of minutes.
What a segue! What a segue! I'm trying to get right to that. That's right. You got to build it up.
Right.
I've left my patience on vacation.
Correct. You've been on vacation and you don't know, unfortunately, how to act right now. Just kidding.
Called out.
But it's cloudy. It's cold. I lost my train of thought.
Well, we've got while you find it, I'll point out that this is Nauticus in downtown Norfolk.
Correct.
And it is gloomy. It is cloudy. It may be even a little misty type of feel to it. There's no precip right now, but it is just kind of a very gloomy day right
And
at
cold.
this point. And cold.
Mid-30s. We were waking up in the upper 30s. Like in Norfolk this morning, it was 38. So we're actually getting colder. It's 40 in Virginia Beach, 37 in Hampton, Newport News, 42 in Suffolk, 42 in Elizabeth City, 42 in Chesapeake. We are 3 to 10 degrees colder than this time yesterday. Here is a look at our satellite radar. We were seeing a few showers earlier this morning, but overall, not looking too bad. We will see some of those showers from the south moving on in later this evening. But overall, for the next couple of hours, we'll stay nice and dry. A few showers in the Outer Banks, but just another cold day across Hampton Road.
It's wearing on Hunter a little bit here. He's getting worn down by the fact that we went weekend of snow, and now another sort of snowy, wintry mix coming our way. How are you holding up with all this winter weather?
You know, I'm hanging in there.
Okay, all right, you're tough.
It's not too
You're
bad.
resilient.
I just am excited for, the
Spring.
80s
Yeah, for May.
for May.
We're almost there, guys.
We're almost there.
in February. February is essentially St. Patrick's Day, which is basically May.
Correct.
We are almost there.
We do have winter weather advisories up for the south side, parts of the southern peninsula, and a few areas in eastern North Carolina, but this does not include Edenton, Elizabeth City, and Nags Head because it's likely just going to be more rain and maybe some mix for you guys. So not expecting a whole lot in the way of accumulation.
Okay.
Still not expecting a whole lot in the way of accumulation if you do have a winter weather advisory, but you could see, a little bit more than other areas.
And it's good to see for some of these storms, for a lot of these storms, it's really been Williamsburg and Richmond that have been affected, right?
Well, except for this past weekend.
So 2 weekends ago, more Williamsburg and Richmond.
But this past weekend, it was eastern North Carolina, the Outer Banks.
That eastern North Carolina, Outer Banks area. Okay, so
Where
there's
it was
been a
getting
little
a
bit
little-
north, a little bit south, And this time it's kind of just the whole area.
Yeah, it's like rain in eastern North Carolina and then snow in our northern areas. Light snow.
Light snow.
So here's 9:30. We're seeing some rain for Elizabeth City, Hertford, Manio, Murfreesboro, some snow showers here in Norfolk. Virginia Beach kind of on that rain-snow line.
Okay.
But again, a few snow showers in Williamsburg and Cape Charles. And then those kind of linger into early Thursday morning. I think it'll be a little bit more persistent in eastern North Carolina. But by 7, 8 o'clock, things are looking good. A few lingering showers in the morning. Temperatures hovering below freezing for a lot of spots, so I would say watch out for some slippery spots on the roadways. And then by Thursday evening, we're in the mid to low 30s, staying fairly cloudy. And then by Friday morning, again, we're in the upper 20s to right around 30. Partly cloudy skies. Nothing wild. Dun, dun, dun.
Now, when you talk through this kind of the snow patterns and the precipitation patterns, I can't help but notice that the temperature never gets very high at any point all the way through till Friday morning.
No.
When we wake up tomorrow morning, do you expect that there will still be snow
No.
on the ground? The rain will kind of it'll wash away a little bit.
I think it'll melt pretty quickly.
It'll be warm enough for it to just melt away. So most people will go to bed with no snow and wake up with no snow.
Possibility,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. It could happen in a lot of spots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you're on the south side, you have a higher chance to see some accumulation, dusting to an inch plus. But even if you did get an inch of snow, it's like, it's not going to look how you would think.
Right.
Because some of it's going to melt right on contact.
Mm-hmm.
So there goes a quarter of an inch of that inch. And then, it'll just look more like a little bit of a dusting on, grassy surfaces. You know what I mean? It's not going to be like a beautiful winter wonderland scenery.
Not what we've come to expect from some of our recent
Correct.
experiences. Okay.
Correct. But still could see a little bit. And then this weekend, dry, but 35 and windy on Saturday. No, thank you. Naya is shaking her head.
Naya, were you shaking your head? You're our resident cold weather supporter.
I did not shake my head.
She was up in arms.
I just said.
Sounds like someone's been attempting to uphold this facade of loving the wintertime, but is slowly getting worn down by the snowy weather. That's all right. That's okay, Naya.
Whatever you guys want to believe.
She her head was rocking back and forth like there was no tomorrow.
She also she's monitoring a lot of things. Maybe she was just keeping an eye on multiple different screens.
No, and then I saw her go, I hate the cold weather.
Now it looks like Sunday, a tick up.
Yeah,
1
36.
degree.
Okay, yeah, no, not, a literal one tick up. Yeah, not going to feel much warmer, but that's okay because it's Super Bowl Sunday.
You're right.
Bunker down inside, get your snacks, get your dips, get your various beverages,
Buffalo chicken dip.
and get ready for the big game. Buffalo chicken dip, one of my all-time favorites, one of the absolute best possible dips in the game.
And you're going to be eating that when you're rooting for the Patriots?
I will be eating that. I have not yet decided which way I will nudge here.
Uh-huh.
I really think that the Seahawks are clearly the better team. But the Patriots have... I just don't see any part of this where the Patriots have an advantage over the Seahawks. I don't.
Okay.
Other than the fact that they've got some points to spare because of the spread. So are you a Patriots fan, Hunter? Is that what you're getting at here?
Yeah, I grew up, in New England.
Okay. All right. Well, maybe I'll just jump on your bandwagon since, we're here to support each other.
Right. Correct. That's true.
Okay.
All right. Go Pats.
Naya, your
What?
thoughts?
Oh, I think the Seahawks are going to win.
My God.
The Patriots I think that they're being a little underrated right now because they went through a true gauntlet of weather and defenses to get here. But the Seahawks are just better
At what?
most of the important spots. Maybe the D-line, the Patriots can hold up a little bit. But even there, the Seahawks are insanely talented. The Seahawks remind me of the Eagles last year. And that top to bottom, their roster is just better. Patriots might have a better quarterback. Sam Darnold's been playing amazing. Now, if you guys leave me to my own devices, I will go on about this for at least another hour.
You are a sports guy.
I did Hunter said one thing, and I think I've been talking for 200 seconds straight. I apologize. We're in the midst of a brilliant forecast from Hunter Forst. Keep it going for us, Hunter.
So if you are going around the region this weekend because your friends are like, oh, come to Richmond for the Super Bowl, it's going to be cold. Same in D.C., Charlottesville, upper 20s to low 30s, but sunshine pretty much for the entire state. But here we go, 10-day temperature trend. You see that?
Oh, come on.
50.
Come on.
Still below average, but 50 nonetheless.
Okay, now we're talking.
I want to see
that
a
is
70 up there. Like, when I see the first 70 up there,
Yeah.
I'm going to be I'm going to be bouncing around.
Hunter's going to come in here, tank top, sunglasses,
Correct.
zinc on the nose, sort of like a straw hat maybe. You're going to have all the summer stuff going on.
Correct.
That's how we'll celebrate the warm weather arriving.
It just has to get here.
It just has to get here. But a couple 50-degree days is not too bad.
I went outside the other day and it was like 40, and I was like, it's hot out.
I got to get rid of some of these layers.
But overnight tonight, right around 30 degrees. Again, some rain mix to snow, and then possibly some minor accumulations, but nothing too crazy. Tomorrow is only going to be 33 degrees for a high. And it's going to be windy. So it's going to be feeling like the tundra.
I mean, you are just that tundra is exactly what you're describing when it's just swirling cold winds.
So it'll be feeling like the low 20s.
Oh, my word.
Through the morning into the afternoon. And then here's our 7-day forecast.
Naya, your thoughts? Your thoughts on what we just heard, Naya?
That was amazing.
This is my fault. I feel like I derailed this with the Super Bowl talk. We got to lock back in here, guys. Give us some 7-day breakdowns here.
Cold.
Yep.
Below average every day. 41 on Friday. Very cold weekend. Windy. 43 on Tuesday. Let's celebrate that. Yay.
Oh, man, celebrating 43 is sad within itself.
Correct.
That is a sad state of affairs. Have we been below average? I mean, how many days in a row have we been below average here?
A lot.
I mean, this is like we got to be on a prodigious run right now.
We're going to give him a pass, Hunter, because he's been gone a couple days.
Oh, that was a rhetorical question. That wasn't that was more of a like, gee, it sure is cold outside.
Gotcha.
I wasn't trying to test your your meteorology knowledge right there, Hunter. Now I do see he's looking it up, isn't he?
Well, I know in January we were in the 30s 7 times, 40s 10 times, 20s twice,
Okay.
50 plus 12 times, but that was, in the beginning of the month. Remember when
We had a decent start to January,
We had a
and
great
then it just
start.
got incredibly cold. The last 2 weeks of January into
this
the
is what I
first
was
week of
looking
Feb.
for. So this is the amount of hours below freezing. We were at 132 hours. So just missed the top 5.
Wow, 132 straight hours below freezing.
Correct.
It is a very unique winter here in Virginia Beach. We're used to those up and down temperatures, but rarely is there a prolonged stretch of freezing cold like this in Virginia Beach, Norfolk, Hampton Roads, and northeastern North Carolina. So it has been very cold, but as always, we hope that there will be some sort of universal karma where we'll get paid back with maybe a very beautiful spring or maybe an extra. I mean, I would say this winter it was warm all the way through November and into December, so maybe we're paying for that now, but it has been freezing cold.
Freezing.
Hunter, give me one more. Can we get one more full summary on what to expect tonight with this wintry weather? A brief sort of quick summation.
Sure. So this evening, 7, 8, 9 o'clock, rain and snow showers. Rain likely in eastern North Carolina, some snow showers in the south side and our northern areas. Lingering into early tomorrow morning. Not expecting a whole lot in the way of accumulation. Could pick up a dusting to an inch plus in a few spots. So you're just going to want to watch out for a few slick spots on the roadways heading off to work tomorrow morning. But nothing we can't handle.
Okay.
It's just going to be, a little nuisance.
Just a little nuisance. And speaking of a little nuisance, you told us that you could only stay till 1:15. We kept you till 1:16, so
Right.
we appreciate the extra minute from you.
That will come out of your paycheck.
Hunter Force, excellent as always, on top of both this wintry mix and the forecast that's to come over the next 7 to 10 days. And hopefully there's some warmth, a couple 50-degree days coming in the future. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break here on Live Impact News. And when we come back, we're going to explore some of the headlines of the day before we move on to some live events. So stay with us right here on Live Impact News. All right, welcome back to Live Impact News, where we actually had a number of live events going on throughout the first portion of our stream, but all of them have sort of concluded all at the same time here. So we're going to go over some other major headlines that have come out of the days of the morning so far, I suppose. So we're going to start with Ryan Routh. Now, Ryan Routh was charged with trying to assassinate Donald Trump when he was running for president in 2024. He is now sentenced. He is now expected to be sentenced in a Florida courtroom. That did, in fact, happen earlier today. Last fall, a jury convicted Ryan Routh for his planned attempt on Trump's life when the then presidential candidate was golfing at his club in West Palm Beach. So remember, this is not the assassination attempt where President Trump was standing on stage and had a little bit of blood coming from his face during a campaign event. This is not that attempt. This is President Trump was out golfing at his club in West Palm Beach, and a gentleman was looking to assassinate him there, and that man was charged, convicted, and now sentenced earlier today. Let's go to the press conference that we recorded just before Live Impact News to go over his sentencing.
Role and everything worked the way it was supposed to, which is why we had the result we did today.
Can you speak to the confluence of events and people who actually got involved, like Mr. McGee, to make this case, to really prevent something from happening and then to make the case?
Yeah, so just just to kind of recap the sequence of events, it started with the bravery of the Secret Service agent who found Mr. Routh hiding in the woods with his rifle, identifying him and taking action without hesitation, which led to Mr. Routh fleeing that scene. And fortunately, there was a vigilant citizen of Palm Beach County who saw what happened and was brave enough to get enough information to relay that to law enforcement. As soon as that information from the citizen was relayed to Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office, it was immediately shared with us when we believed, Palm Beach County believed that he was going northbound on Interstate 95. And once that information was relayed to us at the Martin County Sheriff's Office, every member that was on duty immediately responded to the interstate. Every member that was off duty who got that text or that page left their house. They left their families. They left lunch. Whatever they were doing that day, they went to the interstate as fast as they could. And what you saw was a full response from our agency and the full force of all agencies coming down on this individual at once.
With the events in court today, what do you guys make of the judge's comments about the defendant and then the defendant's comments in court today?
Yeah, the question is, what do we make of the comments in court? So the defendant tried to portray himself as a do-gooder, a victim, and I think Judge Cannon said it best. She says, the evil is in you, Mr. Routh. The evil is in you. You are the one that were trying to kill the President of the United States, former and then to be President of the United States. The evil is in you. And I think that kind of encapsulates all that was taking place here today.
After she imposes the life sentence, her final remarks were, she said if there's one sliver of good that came out of this, I don't know if you were there for this part, in her view, explain what she said there about the counterpoint, about a courageous Americans, how you all followed that.
So the question was, the judge made a comment at the very end about there was a sliver of good that came out of this incident. And of course, there was nothing good in this incident, except for the fact of the heroic acts of the Secret Service agent that put himself in harm's way, really in harm's way. This guy had an AK-47 loaded, 20-something rounds in the magazine, put himself in harm's way and prevented a shooting.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bring them here. What are you doing?
Hey guys,
Hey, can we bring them over, please?
we're all set up over here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Thanks, Sheriff.
Thank you.
Hi, Mr. Routh. Thanks
Hi,
for
Mr.
joining
Routh.
us. If you can just stand there in front of the microphone. That would be cool.
Oh, goodness. Yes, of course.
Okay, we always start in the same place. Go ahead and, say your name and your relationship to the defendant.
Well, my name is Martin Routh, and I represent Ryan Wesley Routh.
All right, what were you trying to get this judge to consider, and what did you think of her remarks to your client?
Step closer to the microphone, Mr. Roth, please.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Well, I don't want to make a comment on what the judge said. She's the judge. She's well within her prerogative to express her opinions. And the question of the defendant's character is pertinent in her calculation of what an appropriate sentence would be. So I don't want to criticize the fact that she drew her own conclusions. I just disagree with them. I think Ryan is a remarkable person. I think he did things that most of us would never even think to do. So, for example, for him to go to Ukraine and volunteer to join the front lines and be a soldier to fight against the Russian invasion, how many people would do that? And what does that say about his character? And then after he left, he went back. And I have received and I have filed letters from people Ukrainians who met him in Kiev, who saw how scarce the resources were that he had, how difficult it was for him to live there, and how hard he tried to recruit and bring combat experienced veterans to come and support the Ukraine defense of their country. How many people would go to Taiwan and try and offer NATO-trained Afghan commandos to go in and help defend that country against a potential Chinese invasion? There are letters in the court and there are stories about all the kind things that Ryan did. The court was focused on the offenses of conviction. So I understand that. I think we have a great federal judiciary in this country. I think the judge may have mistakenly applied the federal crime of terrorism enhancement, and that will be probably the leading issue on appeal. I will be filing a notice of appeal in this case. Thank you.
What about that supervised release, Mr. Roth? What does that mean for?
Excuse
Will
me?
you be appealing?
She just said yes. What does supervised release mean when the judge was referencing that? When might that kick in, or under what circumstances might that be applicable to him?
That is a required pronouncement by the judge, but generally, if you serve life in prison, that's life. There's no parole in the federal system. So he would never actually have an opportunity to serve a period of supervised release.
How is his family taking the news? I saw the sister in court today with us and her husband.
His sister is a very intelligent, professional person. I think she expected to have a very difficult outcome today, and she took it very well.
The judge seemed, safe to say, exasperated when your client was trying to read through his remarks. I think for her, it seemed by her own remarks to echo a little bit of the disjointed nature of his own case presentation. Why did you, what are your thoughts about that moment and allowing your client to take that moment to speak to the judge in the remarks?
Well, you can imagine you find yourself in this position as a lay person with no legal training, having gone through a trial where you were convicted, acting as your own lawyer, and doing a lot of things wrong, not following procedure because you don't know them, not knowing how to introduce exhibits into evidence, not knowing the proper way to cross-examine people or undermine their credibility, and being constantly, criticized and corrected for his inadequacies as a lawyer. So my thought is he has consequences to pay, and this was his day to say everything and get it off his chest. I didn't want to put any limitations on him.
He said something about wanting to be in an assisted suicide situation. How do you think he's going to do as you go on the appeal that he's, in federal prison? How do you think, mentally, or how do you think he'll relate to your
We'll just have to wait and see. I don't really know.
No remorse, no regret. The government said it. The judge, I don't know that the judge referenced it when she was giving the sentence, but has there ever been a moment of remorse or regret between you and Mr. Routh?
I think I addressed that in court as much as I could.
What you had enumerated, is that going to be part of the appeal too? Are those arguments you're making on appeal?
I'm sorry.
About his inability to understand the federal rules of criminal procedure. Is that part of the appeal that you likely are filing, you said?
Most definitely. I don't think he was qualified or should have been allowed to act as his own counsel at the trial.
Mr. Roth, Mr. Routh said in his allocution that violence was not to be accepted, but yet the judge just sentenced him where she said trying to kill the then presidential candidate. How do you square up those two statements?
I think what Mr. Routh was trying to do was he was trying to tell people that might be influenced by him that political violence is never helpful. It's harmful to the democratic process. And I think he was renouncing the thought that a political assassination is ever appropriate.
Mr. Routh was renouncing that?
I think he was. That's my understanding.
So even that he does now regret his actions?
Pardon me?
So that would mean he does now regret his actions?
He hopes that his actions do not influence other people or motivate other people to involve themselves in a political act of violence. Thank you, folks. Thank you very much.
All right, welcome back here into the studio as Ryan Routh is sentenced to life in prison after being charged and subsequently convicted in the assassination attempt on President Trump's life at President Trump's golf course ahead of the 2024 election. So life in prison for Ryan Routh, according to multiple reports, and after hearing from that press conference right there. Now, we are going to take a quick break. Before we do a break, I want to give another update on a story of enormous national attention here over the last 72 to 48 hours, and that is the reported abduction of Nancy Guthrie that occurred early Sunday morning. This is the mother of Today Show host Savannah Guthrie, who apparently was abducted from her home on Sunday morning, according to what police have been able to gather and what observers have been able to gather. Now, an update from Chris Nanos, the sheriff in Pima County, where this situation is being investigated. This came out on the Pima County Sheriff's Department X account today, 10:07 a.m. today. They put up a post that reads, "At this point, investigators have not identified a suspect or person of interest in this case. Detectives continue to speak with anyone who may have had contact with Miss Guthrie. Detectives are working closely with the Guthrie family. While we appreciate the public's concern, the sharing of unverified accusations or false information is irresponsible and does not assist the investigation. No suspect or person of interest has been identified at this time." Again, this case has gotten a lot of national attention due to its relevance and closeness to celebrity. Nancy Guthrie, the mother of Savannah Guthrie. And with that, it appears as though information can begin to come out that is not necessarily verified or is straight up false, because so many people are interested in this case and wanting to figure out what happened in this case. And so the sheriff of the Pima County Sheriff's Department coming out with a statement here saying that there is no suspect or person of interest identified yet in this case as of 10:07 a.m. So that is where that stands, and that is a case where we will continue to bring updates as they come. A tragic situation, a devastating situation for the Guthrie family nonetheless. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll come back in here. It looks like we have one live event that may be starting up, but first, a commercial here on 13 News Now Plus. All right, welcome back. We are headed to our first live event of the day today. First Lady Melania Trump meeting with a freed American-Israeli hostage, Keith Siegel. Let's head out to Washington, D.C. It looks like Okay, our live shot is a little in and out here. We're going to go out and take a listen. If it does kind of go out once again, we'll stick and move pretty quickly here on Live Impact News. For now, let's listen in.
And helping Aviva. During those difficult days, and you helped her enormously in many ways. It's an honor, it's a privilege, and I'm eternally grateful, and I am very grateful to have the opportunity to say that to you in person, sitting next to you. I am eternally grateful to you and President Trump for bringing me home and for bringing all of the hostages back to their families. And I just want to mention the extraordinary mobilization in the fight for Aviva and all of the hostages' freedom, and how it moved me deeply. And it showed us the true meaning of holding on to hope, even in the most difficult moments. Now that I have regained my freedom, and I celebrated 1 year of freedom, being released from captivity this Sunday, I have committed myself to partnering with ISRAID, an Israeli humanitarian aid organization, to help restore hope for others. Giving back is a crucial part of my recovery and rehabilitation process. Aviva and I just came on Sunday, from one of the world's largest refugee camps in Kenya called Kakuma. In Kakuma, ISRAID is providing access to clean water, hygiene, sanitation, and education to thousands of refugees that otherwise would not have any of those. The work of ISRAID has inspired me and given me a new sense of purpose. What a remarkable and amazing accomplishment, bringing all of the hostages back home. And we have a mission ahead of us to help others that are struggling. And this is our new mission in life. This is the road we are on. This is our journey. And I also want to end by congratulating you on the release of your movie. So much looking forward to seeing it, and so grateful for you deciding to have Aviva be a part of your movie. Thank you.
Kate. Thank you. Thank you. Beautiful. Would you like to say a few words?
I just want to say that I waited for the last hostage to come home to thank you. Because when we met, before Keith came home, you gave me so much hope, and I could feel your heart with me. And I knew how important it was for you to go back home and talk to President Trump and share your feelings. So I want to thank you for that. And I want to thank you for putting me in your special Melania film, because I was there talking to you, not for myself, but for the whole world. Bringing the hostages home was the most important thing that I could think about in this world, and now it's all over the world. The bad things that Hamas did to my husband, but I'm lucky. And thank you, Keith, for staying alive and being with me. And thank you, Melania, for helping. I really appreciate it. I want to just tell you that I decided to write a book, and it's dedicated to my grandchildren that can't hear the stories, because they are very, very hard stories to hear. And in the book, I wrote thank you to Melania, because you helped to bring Keith home, and you helped to bring the hostages home. So I'm thanking you. And in my book, everybody that will read it will understand what happens to somebody that's 64 years old, kidnapped from a home, and went through so many moments that I thought and was sure that I'm going to die. And I'm alive. And I survived to tell. So thank you very, very much. I'll always remember the meeting with you, and I'll always remember your help. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you.
And good luck with the film.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Keith.
And we're going to make this world a better world together.
In peace. Sorry?
What did you say to the president after your meeting with Mrs. Siegel?
I gave him the two books that Aviva gave me, and I explained the situation where she thought that Keith was, how he was doing. She didn't have much information, but she knew how much he was suffering because she was with him for 50 days. And I explained to him everything, and I know how hard he was working to release all of the hostages.
Has President Putin agreed to release any more Ukrainian children? Has President Putin agreed to release any more Ukrainian children?
I'm working on it. I'm working on it, and we are in the process, so I hope we have success very soon. I will keep you posted.
This is why do you feel it is appropriate to use an official White House event to promote your documentary?
This is not promotion. We are here celebrating the release of the hostages of Aviva and Keith. They were in Washington, D.C. They called me. They said they would like to come over to thank me and to give hugs, and that's why we are here. It has nothing to do with promotion.
Thank you.
We are in context.
You are in contact.
We are in context. My representative is in contact.
There's a call from the LC survivors at the Lake Maxwell moved to a high security.
Thank you, Press. Thank you, Press.
We are here celebrating the release and the life of those two incredible people, so let's honor that.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Press. Thank you. Thank you for sharing time in captivity. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so there you have it. Live today from the White House, First Lady Melania Trump with a freed American-Israeli hostage, Keith Siegel, there speaking together in the White House. Okay, let's move on to an event that happened here locally in Hampton Roads. You may have heard of the Dome at the Virginia Beach oceanfront, a relatively new concert venue that has already seen some great acts come through, including the Clips, of course. Pusha T and Malice brought back together again the legendary hip-hop duo from right here in Hampton Roads. Now it's been called just the Dome since it opened, the Dome. Now, today, announcing a new name, or at least an addition to that name, earlier in Virginia Beach. Let's go out to VB now and take a listen.
My career at the amphitheater as just a seasonal employee, staffing, ticket takers, and security. So just a few years after the historic Dome closed its doors, I grew up hearing the stories, the legends, the legacy of this place, and all of the iconic artists who once stood on this stage. So when I learned I'd be part of the team bringing the Dome back to life, it was more than just a project for me. It's really been personal. Now, nearly a full year after opening our doors, it's incredible to stand here and see this vision fully realized. From early plans, steel, and concrete, to a powerful first season, this one-of-a-kind venue that we're gathered in here today. This did not happen by accident. It happened through vision, collaboration, and community, and through strong public and private partnerships that believed in what this place could become. Many of those partners are here with us today. In just a moment, you'll hear from a few of them, but first, I'd like to welcome and acknowledge our mayor and our city council members that are in the room. If you please stand so we can give you a round of applause. Thank you so much for your support. As we kick off another exciting year at the Dome, we're here today to make an important announcement and what's next. To kick things off, please join me in welcoming Matt Rogers, our Vice President of Regional Operations for Live Nation.
Good morning, everyone. It's wonderful to see both familiar faces and some new faces today. On behalf of the Dome and Live Nation, thank you for being here to celebrate a special experience or a special moment in the life of the venue and the future of live entertainment in Virginia Beach. This place has always been more than a building. It's a gathering place, a shared culture and community. Over the past year, we've been focused on honoring that legacy while building what comes next. And the momentum has been real. In our very first year, we welcomed over 40 shows, bringing a diverse mix of artists and audiences together, including performances from Shabuzi, Turnover, 3 nights of Clips, and an unforgettable performance from Whiskey Myers. Already this year, we've announced shows with Miguel on February 13th, great night, pre-night, Valentine's Day date night. We've announced David Byrne on May 13th, 2 nights of Goose, June 15th and June 16th. Thank you. I'm going to meet brother here for Goose. We'll be here both nights, okay? At the center of everything we do is fan experience. From how people arrive, to how they move through the building, to how they feel when they leave, every detail matters. Our focus is simple: create a place where people want to return for fans and artists alike. The work doesn't happen alone. It happens through real collaboration with the City of Virginia Beach, local leadership, public safety teams, tourism partners, community organizations who all make this possible. City teams who show up early, stay late. We like to say in our business, first in, last out. Public safety partners who keep us safe. Operations teams who solve problems before they become problems. Tourism and economic development leaders who understand the role of live music plays in growing the cultural identity of the city. These relationships aren't symbolic, they're operational, and they matter every single night we open these doors. The venue's success is directly tied to the strength of those relationships, and we value them deeply. We take pride in knowing that the impact of this venue reaches far beyond these walls. It supports local jobs, tourism, economic growth, and the cultural life of this city. Live music is a part of how cities tell their story. It reflects who we are, what we value, and how we come together. The venue plays a role in the story of Virginia Beach, and we take that responsibility very seriously. What we're building here is a long-term, is creating something that serves this community, strengthens the city, and leaves a lasting impact for generations of fans to come. What brings us here today is about partnership. It's about a shared purpose. It's about welcoming an organization that shares our commitment to this city and to the future of this venue. Today, we're proud to officially welcome our new partner into the story of the Dome. The signage may have given it away already, but it's my honor to announce the name of our venue for the very first time. Welcome to the Dome by Rudder Mills.
Thank you, Matt. How does the Dome by Rudder Mills sound? Pretty good, right? It rolls right off the tongue. Rudder Mills has been part of the Hampton Roads community for over 65 years, serving individuals and families during their pivotal moments. We're excited to welcome Rudder Mills team into the Dome family and begin our partnership grounded in deep community ties and a shared commitment to serving this city. To share more about this partnership, it's my pleasure to introduce Brother Rudder, Managing Partner of Rudder Mills.
Thanks, Tabitha. Hey, everybody. Thanks for coming out on this frigid morning. You know, we are used to cold now and again in Virginia Beach, but usually it's one day, a little bit of snow, the next day it's 65 degrees, right? We can sled down Mount Trashmore one day and, you know, get tubed in Atlantic Park the next day. Anyway, in working to get this sponsorship put together, I was struck by how much each of us, the city of Virginia Beach, Live Nation, and Rudder Mills, share a really deep commitment to see the Dome magnify and enhance the cultural experience, not just for Virginia Beach, but for all the 7 cities of Hampton Roads. We don't think that iconic is too big of a name for where we sit today. And as I watched everybody working through the typical issues that arise from commitments like this, I was struck by the unwavering commitment of each of these partners to make this a success. Everyone knows this venue can and will become an icon, just like it was 60 years ago. So thank you, Mayor Dyer, City Council, for persevering in this, and thank you, Live Nation, for believing that this was the right partnership at the right time and getting this ball over the finish line. We're thrilled to be part of this greatest new live music venue in America, alongside the game-changing development now known as Atlantic Park. So standing here is a little bit surreal. For generations, the Dome is a place where people came together, not just for music, but to make memories, and I think that's going to be its future also. And I've got a few of my own, tied to this place. My dad and I used to come every year to the old Dome. They used to have what was called the Mid-Atlantic Waterfowl Festival, and that was, for us outdoorsmen and decoy swapping and that kind of thing. That was fun. But I also used to get dropped off by my mom for roller skating night. Because people always ask me, did you get to see any of these great live bands that came to the Dome? But I was at the age where my parents were still making the decisions for me. And that was the music I was not allowed to listen to. But what they didn't know is my mom dropped me off and gave me $5 for the jukebox, was all that stuff was on the jukebox. So I could hold hands with a girl, skate in a circle, and listen on repeat to everything that wasn't allowed to be played in my house. It was magic, right? And I'm looking forward to that again here and having that experience here at the new Dome. So times change, styles change, and the Dome, well, it's changed quite a bit. Today, we're honored to help write its next chapter together with the City of Virginia Beach, Live Nation, and Rudder Mills. Our firm, our family, now also beginning its next chapter with our 3rd generation starting to assume leadership of Rudder Mills. So we're moving on with the Dome into a new generation also, and we're excited about it. In the late 1950s, just after the original Dome opened, my father started a law firm here in Hampton Roads. The Dome officially opened in 1958. We officially opened in 1959. So for almost 7 decades, my family's been working closely to build a legacy that would make my dad proud from that day forward, and I think we're close. I think we're close. Over those years, we've had the privilege of standing beside Virginians during some of the hardest moments of their lives. We've recovered well over $1 billion for our clients in this community, but more importantly, we built relationships and trust that mean everything to us. So when people ask, why would a law firm want to partner with a music venue, my answer is pretty simple. Because we don't want to just be known as somebody who shows up when things go wrong. We want to be a part of the moment when things go right, too. Because becoming a naming right partner of this venue is another way we show up for the community in moments of joy and celebration and connection. And that's what live music is. We believe deeply in the power of personal communication, not behind a screen, not over a long distance, eye to eye, face to face, dance step to dance step. And I think that this venue will bring that joy to so many people in this area, in this city, but in this region. And so while this venue proudly calls Virginia Beach home, as do I, the Dome by Rudder Mills belongs to everyone who loves entertainment. Locals, visitors, artists, families from across the entire region. This is a place where memories will be made again together. I was speaking earlier to Worth and saying that it feels like this whole development here with Atlantic Park and the Dome is starting to shift the center of gravity a little bit south in Virginia Beach. and it's starting to flatten the calendar out a little bit where we're not just worried about how we're going to make the shoulder season, right? Now we're talking about a 12-month season. And what that offers as an opportunity to this city, we want to be a part of. I do, my wife does, my children do, the next generation of Rudder Mills wants to be a part of that. So why are we involved here? How can we not be involved here, I think? So as our family's third generation starts to chart their course for this business, they want to extend our mission beyond the courtroom by working hand in hand with local nonprofits to support families, youth programs, the arts, and organizations that strengthen our community, because community isn't one-dimensional. Supporting people means supporting the places where they come together. And what better place to come together than the Dome by Rudder Mills? I love saying that. This venue is about more than concerts. It's about community, connection, and creating something lasting for Virginia Beach and beyond. We've served the Tidewater area for nearly 7 decades. These are our people. This is our home. Our commitment has always been and will continue to be local, personal, and deeply connected. We're here for the long haul. We're here to grow alongside this community and to give back on a scale we've never done before and could not do alone. Our hope is that every concert, every event, every gathering of any type here leaves something positive behind, not just memories, but real and meaningful personal impact. At the end of the day, this isn't about putting our name on a building. It's about putting our values into action. Our name may be on the sign, but our focus will always be on the people inside. So thank you for being part of this moment and for helping us build something meaningful together. The Dome by Rudder Mills.
Thank you, brother. He and the entire Rudder Mills team have really been incredible partners thus far. And I know I speak for everyone when I say we can't wait to grow this partnership together and looking forward to the years ahead. This moment reflects the long-term relationship between the city of Virginia Beach, Live Nation, and now Rudder Mills. It speaks to the Dome's role as a signature gathering place, one that brings people together and reflects the identity of this community. And it highlights the power of local investment, with a hometown business stepping forward to invest back into the city that it serves. We're especially grateful for the leadership of Mayor Dyer, whose commitment to the city's growth, culture, and long-term vision continues to shape moments like this. To speak to what the Dome by Rudder Mills means for Virginia Beach and the momentum ahead, please join me in welcoming Mayor Dyer to the podium.
Good morning, everybody. How are we doing? What a glorious day in Virginia Beach, but you know, living in Virginia Beach, every day is a glorious day. We're here today because Virginia Beach has always been a city of bold ideas. And nearly 60 years ago, one of those ideas changed the cultural life of our great city. Back in 1957, the Virginia Beach Civic Center, later named the Allen B. Shepard Civic Center, arrived with a look that felt like out of the future. With a space-age facade and a new look, it quickly became a magnet for the region's conventions, school dances, car shows, roller skating. You name it, it was a backdrop for many, many memories. And then came along a young disc jockey, a friend of mine named Gene Loving, a name many of us know well, who helped turn the building into a legacy. Working at WLEE radio and later WGH radio, he began to work to bring in musical acts of all types: Louis Armstrong, Ray Charles, the Rolling Stones, Jimi Hendrix, the Supremes, the Who, the Grateful Dead, and many, many more, and to turn the convention center into the Dome. Today we're writing the next chapter, one no one in 1957 could have imagined. The new venture, Atlantic Park, is like nothing that we have done before. This new attraction to the oceanfront offers residences, offices, retail, concerts, entertainment, restaurants, parking, and a wave garden and surf park that pumps out 1,000 waves per hour. Just like the old Dome, our goal is to bring people together to create those wonderful memories, spark creativity, and anchor the cultural heartbeat of Virginia Beach. It also sends a signal to everyone about the future of our city and this venue, that we have the momentum, we have the confidence, and we have the belief that our city is not only a great place to do business, but we are a great partner, and which will encourage continued improvement in our city. Today, we begin a new chapter, one that honors the legacy that we look boldly toward the future. What began 60 years ago as a bold idea that defined a generation is now becoming a bold future. Atlantic Park is a signal that Virginia Beach is moving forward with confidence, with momentum, and a clear vision of what is possible. This project, like the Dome before, belongs to the people of Virginia Beach. It reflects our creativity, our energy, and belief of what a community can do when we come together. And working together with our friends at Rudder Mills, we now have a partnership that reflects the momentum and the energy. Thank you all for joining us today as we turn the page and begin this new chapter of our city's future. And you can be sure of one thing: Virginia Beach is the city of can do. Thank you all, and God bless you for coming.
Thank you, Mayor Dyer. And thank you again to all of our speakers, our partners, our city leaders, and for every one of you who showed up today and being with us. As we enter into our second year, we're excited to continue welcoming fans and building on the momentum of everything the venue has become. However, I would be remiss without mentioning that the Dome, now the Dome by Rudder Mills, is currently nominated for New Concert Venue of the Year as part of Polestar's annual awards. This category recognizes first-year venues that make an immediate impact, delivering standout programming and great fan and artist experience and strong box office performance. So really a testament to what we've done here, and I thank you all for being a part of it. Just want to thank you again for joining us today and on this next chapter of live music in Virginia Beach. And let's hear it one more time. The Dome by Rudder Mills.
Oh, there you have it. The Dome by Rudder Mills, the new name for the Dome in Virginia Beach, one of our newest concert venues here in the area, and an addition to the Virginia Beach oceanfront that is constantly sort of growing, changing, evolving as one of the primary tourist destinations here in Hampton Roads, a tourism-driven area by many measures. Okay, so that is some local news for you, a local update. I think what we're going to do now is take another quick commercial break here, and when we come back, we have a live press conference happening in regards to Super Bowl counterfeiting. We may go out to that. We also have big news nationally that we got earlier today via press conference. So we have a couple different places we can go, but we're not going to go anywhere until after this commercial break. All right, thank you for sticking with us here on Live Impact News. It is Super Bowl week, everybody. Patriots versus Seahawks. If you were here for our forecast, you know that all it took was a mention of the Super Bowl for us to go on a lengthy tangent about this matchup. An interesting one, a different one from past years, but an interesting matchup nonetheless. Now, there's a press conference happening right now about counterfeiting at the Super Bowl, potential scams and counterfeit tickets. Let's go live after that press conference as we speak. And I'm going to stay on volume here because it may have just ended. Naya, what do you think? It does look like they are wrapping up. It was a very brief press conference. Now, we did record a portion of that press conference, so what we can do is play the recording for you so that we can get a little bit of information. Again, in the digital world, there's that constant threat of scams. I'm sure that many of you have gotten phone calls, text messages, any number of communications to attempt to try to extract money from you. And we're also all learning as consumers constantly how to be more aware and defensive about those things. And that includes tickets online, which can be counterfeited, and that extends to the Super Bowl, the premier sporting event in the United States. And so it could be very beneficial for the audience here if we listen in on this particular press conference. So we are going to go to the recording, and we are going to play a portion of that recording for you right now and see if there is information out there that could help safeguard everyone watching and us here in the studio against potential scams during the Super Bowl. Now, will it relate only to those who are attempting to go to the Super Bowl? Possibly, but it may extend beyond that even. So we're getting that press conference fired up right now. It takes a little bit of time to get to it, but while we wait, we will continue to update you on. It does appear as though we have another live look at the Super Bowl right now, Naya. If you want to take Channel 4 live, this looks like maybe where press conferences have been held. You've got the merchandise there of the two teams, Patriots versus Seahawks, with the Lombardi Trophy there. But our live feed goes away as quickly as it appears. Again, we stick and move here on Live Impact News. You never know what's coming up next. But we do know that what's coming up next right now is a portion of this press conference about potential scams and counterfeiting surrounding the Super Bowl. Again, it is Super Bowl week. At some point on this show, we'll give out our picks for the actual game, just for fun, right? But for now, we focus on all the other aspects of the Super Bowl, one of the single largest live events in the United States of America on an annual basis. Let's listen in on this press conference now.
Matters most, which is your passion for the game and the integrity of the products that you buy. Every year, as excitement builds for the Super Bowl, criminals try to cash in by selling fake jerseys, hats, tickets, and memorabilia. They take advantage of fan enthusiasm, hoping you won't notice until it's too late. And maybe you've seen those too good to be true deals at pop-up shops or online, and the reality is that counterfeits aren't just disappointing, they put your personal information and your hard-earned money at risk. And that is why we've launched Operation Team Player, which is a year-round effort to stop criminals from making money by selling you counterfeit goods. Over the past year, through the hard work of the IPR Center, CBP, HSI, state and local authorities, as well as the leagues, we've seized almost 1,300 shipments containing counterfeit goods. That's nearly 300,000 fake items, like jerseys, hats, jewelry, and more. If those goods were real, their value would have topped $33 million. And just take a look at some of the items that we see that are on display here today. So to all the fans here in San Francisco watching from home, we have a simple message: shop smart. Whether you're buying a jersey from your favorite player or some souvenir to remember the big game, stick to trusted retail, especially when shopping online. Look for quality stitching, official security label, and proper markings. Keep your receipts, check your bank statements, and if something doesn't add up, report it right away. And remember, no matter which team you're cheering for on the weekend, we're all united by a love of the game. Because true fans keep it real by supporting the teams with authentic gear and helping us keep counterfeiters off the field. If you want to learn more about how to shop smart and avoid fakes, visit iprcenter.gov/opteamplayer. Thank you and enjoy the game.
right, good morning, everybody. It's an honor to join you here in San Francisco for Super Bowl 60, representing the dedicated professionals of the U.S. Customs and Border Protection, Apparel, Footwear, and Textile Center, as well as other CBP offices, and those hardworking professionals that day in, day out protect the economy, including the enforcement of intellectual property rights. At CBP, our mission is to protect American consumers, businesses, and communities alike, not just on game day, but every day. As fans gather for the biggest sporting event of the year, we're working behind the scenes to keep counterfeit goods out of the marketplace and ensure everyone can enjoy the real deal. Counterfeit merchandise may look like a bargain, but it comes with real risks. Unsafe materials, poor quality, and even links to criminal activity. Our enforcement efforts are strong, and they're stronger than ever. In fiscal year 2025 alone, CBP seized over 78 million counterfeit items. Total manufacturer suggested price of nearly $7.4 billion. That's more than 25,000 seizures. And these seizures protect American jobs, innovation, and the integrity of our favorite brands. This year, as the excitement builds for Super Bowl 60, CBP has intercepted thousands of counterfeit NFL goods worth millions of dollars. These fake products, from jerseys, hats, rings, and other fan gear, are not only illegal, but they undermine the legitimate businesses and put consumers at risk. Counterfeiting isn't a victimless crime. It hurts local vendors, it threatens American jobs, exposes fans to unsafe and substandard products. And that's why we work closely with our partners with the National Intellectual Property Rights Center, Homeland Security Investigations, and the NFL to stop these goods before they reach the marketplace. If you suspect a product is counterfeit, report it through CBP allegation system or the IPR Center. And remember, if the price seems too good to be true, probably is. This Super Bowl, let's celebrate the game, protect the fans, teams, and businesses that make it great. Thank you.
Okay, at this time, we would like to have media come up if you would like to ask Eric Vatt, our director, some questions about the merchandise, and also time to take some photos as well. He's right there.
Okay, we're actually going to stay on the Super Bowl theme here because the United States Coast Guard actually gave a press conference about their security preparations for the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl's on the West Coast in San Francisco. The Coast Guard with a press conference earlier today, again, about security preparations. That's unique. It's not something that we've necessarily seen before. It may have happened before, but I don't remember covering it in my career. And obviously the Coast Guard and the military in general with a major presence here in Hampton Roads. So let's see what the Coast Guard has to say about security at the Super Bowl.
Thank you again for being here.
Thank you, Captain. We will now take questions and offer individual interviews.
I think one of the most interesting aspects that I've heard so far is the drone mitigation team. Can someone speak to how that will work?
Lieutenant Colonel Clankewitz?
Hi, good morning. Lieutenant Commander Eddie Clankewitz. Can you just repeat the question, please?
How does the drone mitigation team work? What will they be doing?
So the drone mitigation team, it's a collective effort that we work with the City of San Francisco, our federal partners such as TSA FAMS, and then our unique team, Maritime Safety Response Team out of San Diego, where we posture up and we enforce a temporary flight restriction zone. So as approved by the FAA, we set up, and then for a duration of time where that TFR is implemented, that's where we enforce the drone requirements, where you have a no-fly zone. And if there are incursions, we either use our equipment to stop that drone, or we send ground units working with local police and our own operators to enforce the TFR.
how does that happen exactly if the drone doesn't reach that zone?
So we have a few different methods for drone mitigation. One of those is we have detection systems all throughout the city to identify if there is a drone in the area. We do identify if that drone is now in going into the zone, and with that, we can either send ground intercept teams, so we have the ability to identify the location of the drone operator. So we will send SFPD, we will send our operators ashore, and then we also have the capabilities that if we are unable to send ground intercept teams, we could potentially mitigate using some of our technology, some of our equipment. We would not shoot it down. We have the ability to stop it in place. We have the ability to send it back to the operator, and we have the ability to send it to an exact location.
Could you spell your name? I can't quite.
Yep, Kalankowicz. I like to joke common spelling, but Kalankiewiczz. Okay. Any other questions? At this time, there are no threats. We obviously have teams deployed to the Joint Operations Center in San Jose. We have members deployed to the DOC, the Operations Center in the city of San Francisco. We have intel here. And at this time, there is no credible threats affecting the city of San Francisco or drones or anything in that regard.
What type of additional security challenge does hosting the Super Bowl in a coastal city present from a security standpoint?
So from a security standpoint, that's a multifold question. So what we've done, our goal is for the safety and security of the people, the American public, and the infrastructure here, both on the waterway and both along the city of San Francisco. So we are basically a force multiplier for the city of San Francisco in conjunction with other local partners, state partners, and our other federal partners. So some of the things the Coast Guard has done is we have an increased presence on the waterway. So we're doing multiple patrols along the several piers. We have a bunch of additional shoreside personnel, so they'll be staged at different piers throughout the city. We have ground units with the local fire department, with the police department, with TSA FAMS. So our goal is the safety and security of the personnel both on the water side and the shore side, and we have a force multiplier in that plan.
The other thing that I would say is important to note is that these missions are missions that we do on an everyday basis here within the Port of San Francisco. So our teams are out here, our local units are operating, doing safety and security missions. We are doing security patrols of our critical waterways. That happens every day. We do escorts of our high-capacity passenger vessels on a regular basis. So when you have an event such as this, obviously that presents additional security measures with the crowds that are gathering, the number of people in the area, additional potentially waterside assets and folks out on the waterway. So we will just, as I mentioned, we've augmented our local teams here with our deployable specialized forces. So we brought them in to help make a more robust response, but we'll continue to do the same missions we do every day here. So our teams are well-versed, they're well-practiced, and as I said, we have really great state, local interoperability here within the Port of San Francisco. Our partners in the city, the fire department, the police department, and then our other federal coordination team members that are part of this response are just working together on a day-to-day basis from a normal search and rescue incident that occurs to vessels that come in for inspections, etc. So this is something we do every day. It's just a more robust and augmented response this week.
Yes.
How long have you guys been training for this specific Super Bowl?
So the question was, how long have we been training for this specific Super Bowl event? So when there's a large event like this, a pre-planned event, we set up an incident management team. And I believe, Deputy, do you have any information on how long it's been going?
Good morning, folks. Lieutenant Nate Mendes, Deputy Enforcement Chief, also Deputy Incident Commander for this event. We've been planning for 9 to 10 months for this particular event. We stood up an incident management team, as Ms. Shea had mentioned, about 3 months ago, and we've been ramping up. We put in a request for forces for other area units on the West Coast to come support our effort, and they're mobilizing and reporting as we speak. Why was the presser canceled yesterday?
We moved it for a few different reasons, but one of them, it just worked out better kind of operationally here, but then also there was a short lapse in appropriations, so we moved it to today to mitigate any of those issues.
No sail zones? Are there areas where, I know Levi Stadium is on the bay, but it's not that far away. Is there a buffer zone on the water, either there or other areas that will be patrolled, enforced, or what happens if somebody tries to cross that zone?
That's a great question. So we do have a safety zone that the public has been notified of. That'll extend from just offshore from where the Palace of Fine Arts is by Chrissy Field, extending all the way to the south, just south of Pier 80. And that is to ensure that any large gatherings that we have, all the concerts that we're going to have on the waterfront, we'll have that flexibility to keep the public, the boating public, away from those piers as needed. But it's not going to interfere with any of the ferry transports or the day-to-day commercial traffic in that area.
Are you anticipating an increase in boating under the influence type of incidents during the actual Super Bowl?
That's always a possibility. I'm not sure if that would be something that we'd anticipate during game day potentially, but during the week, as I said, a ton of waterfront events. We're inviting the entire sporting world to San Francisco to enjoy the beauty and everything the city has to offer. So as Captain Tosco mentioned, this is something we do on a daily basis, ensuring that folks are operating their pleasure craft safely, that the marine transportation system is conducting their trips uninterrupted. And we do have law enforcement teams on the water conducting security patrols and enforcing zones, ensuring that there's no negligent boating operating, to include operating under the influence.
I'll invite Commander Clark to the podium right here. He's our commanding officer of our Pacific Strike Team. So the Pacific Strike Team has some unique capabilities. So if you wouldn't mind coming and just giving a quick description, and we also have some information over here and some kind of tangibles about what the strike team does, both in our AOR, our area responsibility, and outside.
Sure. So, good morning. My name is Commander Ryan Clark. I am the commanding officer of the Coast Guard's Pacific Strike Team. We're based out of the North Bay in Novato, California, and we're part of the Coast Guard's elite oil spill, hazmat response, and emergency disaster response teams. The city of San Francisco and Santa Clara has asked for our help this week, providing hazmat decontamination support for first responders should there be any sort of incident. So we're just happy to work with our core partners and be involved in the event and support both the sector here in San Francisco, our local city partners, and the public.
Do you have any additional questions before we move to individual interviews? Okay, thank you so much for your time. And if you'd like individual interviews, please come see us after, and we'll go from there. Thank you.
All right, so there's the Coast Guard talking about security concerns surrounding the Super Bowl, or more, not security preparations surrounding the Super Bowl. It's always better to be prepared in those types of situations, prepared for anything when it comes to an event that has so much notoriety, so much attendance, and so much security that has to go into it. Now, here is Levi's Stadium. This is where the Super Bowl will be held this year. As you can see, just north of San Jose, not far from the Pacific Ocean. Though when I pulled it up, Nia Campbell did remark that it was quite a bit further from the ocean than she thought it was going to be, but relatively close to the Pacific Ocean over there in California. That is where the San Francisco 49ers typically play their games. However, it is a bit closer to San Jose in actual proximity. Can we zoom out, Nia, to give people a sense of where in California this is? Below Sacramento, they're in that Southern California area, really more middle of California than anything else. And so that is Levi's Stadium, where the Super Bowl will be played. And of course, I do believe it's an outdoor stadium, so hoping for good weather. Out in California, there's an expectation of warmth, but you hope that there's no precipitation, so the teams can have a clean game, especially the Patriots, who have played snow games all throughout the playoffs. And look at that shot down on the field at beautiful Levi's Stadium. And yes, no retractable roof. It is an open stadium, just from the look here. And so, and a secret being told there by that young woman at the bottom of the screen. Okay, so again, we'll have Super Bowl coverage throughout the week as we lead up to the game, both as ancillary things such as this, but also the game itself. For now, we're going to move on to another one of the headlines that has completely and totally dominated 2026, and that is the situation in Minneapolis. But Nia Campbell just gave me an excellent reminder, which is that before we move on to an update from Minneapolis and their immigration enforcement situation, we need to take a quick commercial break. So after this commercial, an update from Minnesota. All right, so another update out of Minneapolis. Of course, Renee Good and Alex Preddy, both shot and killed by ICE agents within the last 6 weeks, since 2026, really. And since Alex Preddy's shooting and killing, there have actually been some changes that have come to immigration enforcement in Minneapolis. Now, first, we will report that Alex Preddy's death was ruled a homicide by a county medical examiner. Now, beyond that, in terms of the federal changes, border czar Tom Homan was sent to Minneapolis to take over those immigration enforcement organizations. So Tom Homan now in Minneapolis leading the immigration enforcement. And with that, there has been the announcement of a drawdown of 700 agents from Minneapolis. Or from Minnesota as a whole. So 700 agents will leave Minnesota over the course of time, or at least that is what is planned, according to Tom Homan. And then Tim Walz also spoke about this plan on social media earlier today. Now, that'll still leave 2,000 agents for immigration enforcement in Minnesota, but 700 agents drawing down after an announcement from Tom Homan. And we are actually going to listen in to that announcement right now that was made earlier today. Let's listen to the border czar.
Good morning. I'm Tom Homan. I'm the border czar, President Trump. I'm here with Sam Olson, Field Office Director for the St. Paul office, and Ron Patello, Senior Advisor to the Commissioner of Customs and Border Protection, Border Patrol. Us three guys got just shy of 100 years in law enforcement, immigration enforcement. I've worked with Ron 30 years ago in Dallas, Texas. He's been with the Border Patrol's entire career. During my press conference last week, I reported I had productive discussions with various state and local officials, including Governor, Attorney General, Mayor Frey, and law enforcement officials about increasing coordination in a lawful way between the county jails and ICE to avoid public safety threats being released back in the community. While we had our differences, one thing was clear: we all committed to public safety for all who live in the Twin Cities. We have made significant progress under the direction of President Trump, working with state and local officials here in Minnesota, and I expect that to increase in the coming weeks. We continue to have discussions. I'll have discussions this afternoon. We currently have an unprecedented number of counties communicating with us now and allowing ICE to take custody of illegal aliens before they hit the streets. Unprecedented cooperation. And I'll say it again. This is efficient, requires only 1 or 2 officers to assume custody of a criminal alien target rather than 8 or 10 officers going into the community and arresting that public safety threat. This frees up more officers to arrest or remove criminal aliens. More officers taking custody of criminal aliens directly from the jails means less officers on the street doing criminal operations. This is smart law enforcement, not less law enforcement. It's safer for the community, safer for the officers, and safer for the alien. This coordination also makes it far more safe for the Twin Cities. Arresting a public safety threat in the safety and security of a jail is the safest thing we could do. Further, less public safety risks are being released back into the communities, reduces recidivism, so local law enforcement can direct their limited resources to other public safety matters in their community. This is another priority of President Trump. The state prisons already cooperate with ICE on this coordinated transfer of custody, and we thank them for that partnership, and we plan to do more with them. I also want to reiterate and emphasize we are not requiring jails to hold people past their normal release time for immigration purposes. We're not asking anyone to be an immigration officer. We are not asking any state or local official to do immigration enforcement activity. They are not. By merely notifying us before they release them, they don't hold them 1 minute past they normally would. Given this increase in unprecedented collaboration, and as a result of the need for less law enforcement officers to do this work in a safer environment, I have announced effective immediately, we will draw down 700 people effective today. 700 law enforcement personnel. We have also fully integrated CBP personnel into the ICE ERO team structure under one unified chain of command. Not 2 chains of command, there'd be 1 chain of command here. Any large enforcement operation I've ever been involved with, there's 1 chain of command, and that's where we're moving forward. During my press conference last week, I announced that moving forward, ICE will be conducting targeted immigration enforcement operations, like ICE has traditionally done for decades, based on reasonable suspicion to question and detain. ICE will conduct these operations and transnational criminal organization investigations with a focus on national security and public safety. I want to be clear. Just because you prioritize public safety threats don't mean we forget about everybody else. We will continue to enforce the immigration laws in this country. To help execute this, we have developed and implemented a multi-agency surge task force within an operational framework that clarifies lines of effort integrated enforcement, investigative and special response efforts. A unified joint operations center has been established to manage all operations and ensure efforts align with priorities of the mission. This reorganization also enables ICE to leverage joint intelligence capabilities to effectively target threats, as well as to reduce the overall personnel footprint and enhance public safety and confidence in the agency's capabilities and presence here. I've also ensured that officials from legal internal affairs offices remain on the ground as long as this operation continues. During our efforts to identify and implement improvements of how operations are planned, conducted, and managed, we identified a gap in regard to the use of body-worn cameras. This was actually raised by the workforce when I started walking around talking to people here. Some officers and agents had them, some didn't. That inconsistency was unacceptable, so we moved immediately to prioritize full body cam deployment in the city. I discussed this with Secretary Noem a couple of days ago, and she made the decision to deploy them. The plan is to deploy them nationwide, but it's a priority for the city right now. There's actually $20 million in the spending bill to further fund the deployment of body cameras. The President's supportive of this decision because we have nothing to hide. We want to be fully transparent in what we do. The American people seek and deserve professional and trustworthy law enforcement, and I and the President expect that any misconduct will not be tolerated and will be swiftly addressed. The integration, structuring, and resources we have implemented would help ensure accountability and that targeted enforcement operations have a focus on national security threats and public safety threats, and they are conducted effectively, safely, and appropriately. Again, this is smarter enforcement, not less enforcement. For those who are not a national security threat or public safety risk, you are not exempt from immigration enforcement actions. If you're in the country illegally, you are not off the table. And let me be clear, President Trump fully intends to achieve mass deportations during this administration, and immigration enforcement actions will continue every day throughout this country. President Trump made a promise, and we have not directed otherwise. I heard rumors we have, untrue. Given that many public safety threats on our communities, many of which poured across the border during the Biden administration, it makes sense to prioritize public safety risk right now. Again, prioritization doesn't mean you forget about everybody else. But we have a criminal here, a non-criminal here. The criminal has to be arrested first because they're the biggest threat to the community. My goal with the support of President Trump is to achieve a complete drawdown and end this surge as soon as we can. But that is largely contingent upon the end of the illegal and threatening activities against ICE and its federal partners that we're seeing in the community. We will not draw down on personnel providing security for our officers. I will not let our officers be put at risk. So we will not draw down on personnel providing security and responding to hostile incidents until we see a change in what's happening with the lawlessness of the impeding and interfering and assaulting of ICE and Border Patrol officers. It is against the law to forcibly assault, resist, oppose, impede, intimidate, and interfere with federal law enforcement, including ICE officers and Border Patrol agents. Doxing law enforcement to threaten them and their families because they're executing their sworn duties to enforce immigration law that Congress passed is unacceptable. And it's shameful and incomprehensible to me that this unlawful and threatening behavior is being tolerated by anyone. As far as what I saw yesterday with the roadblocks being set up, you're not going to stop ICE. You're not going to stop Border Patrol. The only thing you're doing is irritating your community and want to go get groceries or pick their children up or whatever. I talked to the chief of police, and he committed to taking swift action on those illegal roadblocks. They're illegal. We shouldn't tolerate them. Again, a complete drawdown is going to depend on the cooperation, continued cooperation of local and state law enforcement, and the decrease of the violence, the rhetoric, and the attacks against ICE and Border Patrol. The federal law enforcement personnel, ICE and CBP, and other partner agencies are patriots. And they've carried out their duties patriotically, with integrity, with professionalism and compassion. I've said this many times, these men and women don't hang their heart on the hook when they come to work. President Trump and I strongly stand with them in the critical work they do to prevent harmful or otherwise dangerous people from entering or remaining in this country. As part of the surge operation here, numerous criminal aliens have already been arrested. We've arrested 14 people who had homicide convictions, 139 people with sex-related offenses, 28 gang members. Correct me, 139 assault convictions, 87 sex offenses, 28 gang members have been arrested, just to name a few. We're taking a lot of bad people off the street. Everybody should be grateful to that. Who in their right mind would want these dangerous criminals walking around their communities? Everyone has a constitutional right to peacefully protest. President Trump and I, we completely support that. At the same time, professional law enforcement officers should and need to be able to perform their sworn duties without being harassed, impeded, or assaulted. I want anyone to report instances of alleged misconduct or wrongdoing. There's a way to report that. The Trump administration is taking violations of 18 U.S.C. 111, which is assaulting, impeding, interfering. We're taking that seriously. If you violate the law, you will be federally prosecuted. In the past month, 158 people have been arrested for violation of 111. 85 cases have been already accepted for prosecutions. The rest remain pending.
All right, back in the live Impact News studio after listening to about the first half of Tom Homan's presser and repeatedly kind of emphasizing that this is not less immigration enforcement, but more efficient immigration enforcement, smarter immigration enforcement, something to that degree during his press conference just now. Again, 700 agents to draw down from Minnesota over the course of time here. That is the plan as far as we know. That is reportedly the plan. Now, let's listen in on another press conference that we had earlier today. Earlier today, Democrats took to the podium to touch on a number of issues. And once again, Nia Campbell with the reminder at the buzzer as I was about to toss to a press conference, we need to take one more break, one more commercial break. I'm still getting used to integrating these in. And then after those commercials, we will be back with a press conference from Democratic leaders speaking about a number of issues on the docket today. All right, back here in the Live Impact News studio, and now we can make our way to a press conference with House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries and other Democratic leaders from earlier today. Let's listen in, hear what they're talking about.
You won't be getting called on today. I ration him. Right. They know that. Well, good morning, everyone. We had a very productive discussion, House and Senate Democrats standing together firmly on behalf of the American people. Taxpayer dollars should be used to make life more affordable for everyday Americans, not to brutalize or kill them. ICE is completely and totally out of control. Immigration enforcement should be just, it should be fair, and it should be humane. That is not what is taking place right now. Dramatic changes are necessary at the Department of Homeland Security with respect to its enforcement activities so that ICE and other agencies are conducting themselves like every other law enforcement agency in the country. Not in so many instances in a rogue or lawless manner. There are several demands that we will articulate on behalf of the American people, which of course include but are not limited to mandatory body cameras, judicial warrants, which in our view should be required before everyday Americans are ripped out of their homes or snatched out of cars violently. The Fourth Amendment is not an inconvenience. It is a requirement embedded in our Constitution that everyone should follow. Certainly, I think there's agreement that no masks should be deployed in an arbitrary and capricious fashion, as has been the case, horrifying the American people. And of course, I think the American people believe that ICE shouldn't be able to detain and deport American citizens, which we know is taking place right now. These are just some of the common sense proposals that the American people clearly would like to see in terms of the dramatic changes that are needed at the Department of Homeland Security before there's a full year appropriations bill. It's now my honor to yield to a former distinguished member of the House of Representatives. All good things flow from the House, in our humble opinion. Before that. As I was as well. I know. And we're both from Brooklyn. But he's doing a tremendous job as the leader of the Senate Democrats, the Honorable Chuck Schumer. Well, thank you, Hakeem, and let me thank you and my Senate colleagues, our House colleagues, and we had a really good and productive meeting, and we're on the same page. First, what is happening in our cities just turns your stomach inside out. It's not just us. When Americans see the pictures of these goons beating people, pushing people, and even shooting and killing people, they say, this is not America. And what the hell is going on in our cities? It is reminiscent of dictatorship. And when some of these ICE thugs just keep beating and beating and beating a woman who's pushed to the floor, that's un-American. And the American people are on our side. 90% have seen the videos, according to a most recent survey. And they are appalled. And they are urging the Senate and the House
the Congress, and the White House to stop this. And so, Democrats, we have common sense, tough objectives to rein in ICE. And the Republicans need to get serious. 3 broad categories we all agree on. 1, none of these roving patrols. You can't just stop anybody on the street. You can't just pick them up and not even tell them why they're picked up, put them in some dark place, no access to a lawyer or a phone or anything else. You can't, there are certain places they shouldn't be able to go in, churches, synagogues, schools, election places. There should be no racial profiling as these bands of goons roam the streets. That's 1. 2, we need real accountability. There's got to be oversight. There's got to be outside independent oversight by state and local governments, by individuals, and there's got to be a right to sue. There's got to be a right to go to court and stop this. And finally, no secret police. I find it amazing that the Speaker of the House, which are saying they should be allowed to have masks. This group, which needs to be identified more than any other group, should have a standard much more lenient and hidden than other police forces. I would bet when Speaker Johnson goes down to Louisiana, the sheriffs and the police deputies are well identified as they.
Okay, so serendipitously somewhat, we follow up Border Czar Tom Homan speaking about immigration enforcement with Democratic leaders Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer also speaking about immigration enforcement. Now, that brings us just about to the end of the show. We've got 5 minutes here. We're actually going to finish the show with a 2-minute break, so we've got about 3 minutes here before this show is over. So, the final thing we're going to do, we're actually going to transition to some breaking news out of the sports world that somewhat concerns Hampton Roads. The closest NBA team geographically to Hampton Roads is the Washington Wizards. The Washington Wizards have had a prolonged period of very, very poor play, bad records, bad teams. But they appear to be at least attempting to turn that around as the Wizards have traded for Anthony Davis, the 10-time All-Star from the Dallas Mavericks and a champion with the Los Angeles Lakers, now traded to the Washington Wizards. This comes not long after the Wizards traded for Trae Young, also a previous All-Star point guard. So now Anthony Davis and Trae Young, 2 former All-Stars, both on this Wizards team. Anthony Davis up into his early to mid-30s now and has struggled with injuries in the past. Trae Young, still a younger player, but since his All-Star peak has struggled to produce on winning teams. However, they are now Washington Wizards, a fresh start for both players to go along with a promising young core. Former top 3 pick Alex Sarr, Trey Johnson, and potentially a very high draft pick this year. Now, they traded 2 first-round picks. One is the Thunder's 2026 selection, which will undoubtedly be very, very low in the first round. The Thunder, the best team in the NBA as of now. And the Warriors' top 20 protected pick in 2030, which means if that pick is in the top 20, it doesn't convey. So, not giving up much based on our first look at this trade for the Washington Wizards, but they get Anthony Davis. So a bit of a turnaround for the NBA team in Washington. We'll see if they can start to put together some wins and some support from their local fan base, including potentially fans here in Hampton Roads. The Wizards, just in my experience, have not had a stronghold of fans here in Hampton Roads, but with good teams and championships, that fandom will likely come. Now that does it for us here on Live Impact News on this Wednesday, February 4th. We will, of course, be back tomorrow for our Thursday edition of Live Impact News. We appreciate everyone joining us today. To the People's producer, Nia Campbell, any last words?
No last words.
All right, let's go to break to finish out this show. Thanks for joining us, everybody.